Hey everybody, welcome back to the Capes Cast podcast. I'm Jeremy,
And I'm right.
and we got solicitations this week for DC,
Yep.
so I'm gonna start with that, and we're just gonna jump right into it. Of course, they always start solicitations with Batman because they cannot help it, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And the page just went away. Hold on, let me find it. DC Comics solicitations, man. Now I can't find it. Here we go. Sorry. So yeah, it starts with Batman. Hush 2 continues.
Oh, yeah.
Gotham City Sirens book
Who's doing
is
that?
announced. Leah Williams again.
Oh, okay.
Gotham City Sirens unfit for orbit,
Hmm.
and it looks like it's gonna be pretty much similar as the last one. Fluffy, not really much of a
Me neither.
yeah, just be a story.
Yeah.
Uh, not a lot to say about it, is all I'm saying.
Hmm.
Um, looks like it's coming out weekly like the last one. Absolute Batman number 10.
That with the Bane redacted one or whatever?
Um, that yeah.
Hmm.
So I'll read the solicitation if you want.
Hmm.
Cool. Huh. Bruce Wayne is trapped within the horrors of Ark M as his best friend Waylon Jones endures unimaginable tortures.
Uh-oh.
Maybe he gets turned into Killer Croc.
Yeah.
But what awaits Batman is far more terrifying than anything either has faced, and the true form of Bane is revealed. But it's how Bane plans to break Batman that will have you, our dear readers, bending over backwards. Da-da-da. They're alluding
So
to
he's not going to break his back. He's going to do something else, I guess. Okay.
Absolute Superman number 9. The
That's one
mysterious,
with the Omega symbols on his face, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I wonder what that one's about.
the mysterious Omega Men have chased the Superman around the world, determined to plead their case only with his help and by unleashing the full scope of his terrifying power can they put an end to the Lazarus Corporation. With anger burning in his heart, Cal is starting to listen.
Hmm. So the Omega Man.
Yep, Absolute Wonder Woman number 10. What Diana seeks inside the maze seems to elude her every turn. As things unravel around her, she finds herself questioning everything. Meanwhile, or in her mission, even her mission, meanwhile, in Gateway City, an old obligation has raised its head violently. Don't know what that means. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You have Absolute Green Lantern number 4.
Oh,
Joe and Hal plan a hatch to strike back at Abinster and free Evergreen, but is their understanding of Abinster and his plan for Evergreen correct, or will they just create a bigger disaster in the process?
mm.
Interesting. Absolute Man Hunter number 5.
Yeah.
Absolute Martian Manhunter number 5. An attack on Middleton power stations, a citywide blackout. As night falls, dark sides are unleashed. It's John Jones and the Martian against a city full of psychopaths and the one behind it all. Interesting. Absolute Flash number 5.
Hey.
Wally's going, yeah. Wally's going to need to learn how to handle the heat as he faces down the monstrous heat wave. Can he evade his fiery grasp, or will the young speedster be burned to a crisp?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all going to be pretty good, I
Yeah.
imagine, because they've all been really good so far.
Right.
And then you got Superman Unlimited, Superman, Supergirl, which is going to be 3 issues in, Crypto the Last Dog, uh, Action, where Mark Waid is continuing his run. Good
Yeah.
grief. Oh, sorry. Um, and then it's like the aftermath of We Are Yesterday and World's Finest, it looks like, with 40, 41.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wow, it's still going. Yes.
Yeah. It says up is down and left is right and red is green, but danger is still danger. As Batman and Superman awaken on Bizarro World with no idea how they got there or why they're being hunted by one of the most dangerous beings in the universe. Even if they survive, can they find their way home from a backward planet in time to save their friends from danger?
Okay.
So, new arc
Yeah.
after it's about, I mean, I wonder how, if it keeps selling, I'm sure they'll keep
Right.
going, you know? It'll be interesting to see how long it goes on for. And then you got, I thought this one was kind of funny. DC's California Love.
Is it one of those stupid, like, just,
Themed one shots.
yeah, like the anthology one shot things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's got Brian Q. Miller, Brandon Thomas, Josh Hale, uh, Volkov, George Mann, Chris Bokegs. This is like people I've never heard of.
Right.
And Megan Fitzmartin is on there.
Okay. Yeah. It's rough.
Just gonna be a random one shot of the super family doing silly stuff in the summer.
Yeah, I'll
I
pass.
guess I guess if you're trying to, this is the kind of stuff you put new writers on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I guess if you're putting new writers on, this is the way to do it, just to see
Yeah.
how they do.
Tryouts, more or less.
Right, because you get them like what there you put like what one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight writers on there. It's 80 pages. You give them 10 pages. There's ads in there, so it's probably really like 8 pages really each.
That's basically what Batman Urban Legends and Brave and the Bold was. It was monthly though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you just let them do this one shot. If you see the talk online or wherever about their whoever story, you give them another one.
Yeah. Well, it's a summer of Superman after all, so.
Right. People take a shot at it. Who cares?
Yeah.
New History of DC Universe continues.
Well,
Artists are Brad Walker and Mike Allred.
oh.
Oh, yes. The DC universe as we know it begins to take shape as a mysterious ship crash lands in Smallville, and years later, Superman makes his debut. Meanwhile, in Gotham City, Batman emerges from the shadows to clean its crime-ridden streets. After years of isolation from man's world, Wonder Woman leaves the paradise of Themyscira for modern society. A new age of heroes dawns as Barry Allen recounts the formation of the Justice League through the events up to and leading to his death in the Crisis of Infinite Earths.
Okay.
Uh, Wonder Woman 23.
Is
Um,
is Sam Pair back?
yeah. So they're doing this whole like Mouse Man thing with Emily.
Okay. Oh, now they're bringing her back?
Yeah, because they're doing the Mouse Man thing.
Yeah.
She's on the island or whatever with them,
Hmm.
which I was like, damn, that's kind of crazy.
You're right. That's cool.
And it wasn't it Etta Candy that was taking care of her.
Yep.
I was like, yo, that's kind of a trip.
Right. Because we just saw her in like Absolute Wonder Woman too.
Yeah,
So,
too. Yeah.
too.
You got Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong number two.
Right.
You got Justice League Unlimited 9. This is an aftermath issue for We Are Tomorrow, or We Are Yesterday. God.
Yeah, we are yesterday.
Um, and from the cover, it kind of looks like we see the World Forger from Snyder's run,
Oh,
like Grodd, somebody in the
from the sixth
Inferno.
dimension?
Yeah, from the Inferno.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like somebody in the Inferno outfit, Grodd, and then you see the World Forger.
what?
Let me see if I can.
That's pretty cool. I wonder what made Wade want to do that.
I mean, who really cares, bro? I love Sixth Dimension.
Yeah, sixth dimension was awesome. It is. What the? Okay.
I can tell you, right?
Okay.
I'm about it. Let's see what else. This Justice League Dark Tomorrow special. Did you say something about this?
No. What
Mark
is
Waid
this?
is writing it, and Mark Guggenheim is writing it.
Sold.
Cian Tormey is doing the art. It says, in the wake of We Are Yesterday epic crossover, a mysterious quantum quorum, which is the same thing Ray referenced in Justice League Unlimited 9. So whatever happens because of the time travel stuff
Mm.
in We Are Yesterday is going to have some effect in the modern DC universe.
Okay.
Kind of in the similar way that Devil Nezza did with Lazarus
Right.
Planet.
Right. That makes sense.
So it says a mysterious quantum form has emerged, stalked by a lethal enemy that takes no prisoners. The League deputizes a ragtag group of time-to-place heroes like Batman Beyond, Gold Beetle, and Helena Wayne to fill the void left behind them by the Time Masters and save the Quorum from the mysterious threat that's picking off time travelers one by one. These legends of tomorrow are the only ones standing in the way of the cascading chromal
Wait,
Armageddon, with the past, present, and future teetering on the brink of an oversized special. In this oversized special, leading to the next big DC All-In event.
is this like continuing from what Jeff Johns set up with Batman? Remember like Flashpoint Beyond and then Justice Society of America with like the Time Masters, remember that? And like basically they were saying like something bad's coming to Bruce and blah 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 and so I imagine like we're finally getting that.
Right. It kind of, yeah. So I was kind of thinking about this earlier. Like, I don't, I don't remember for sure, but I think the Time Masters are like missing at the end of Flashpoint Beyond.
Right.
And
Because it's
obviously
just
we have
that
Helena.
one dude. It's just that one dude.
Yeah, I think it's Silver Hunter.
Right. Yeah.
But we also know that because of JSA with Helena being like time displaced,
Right.
and there's like the weird situation. I don't know, like it's because it hasn't really been followed up on. Like
Right.
I'm curious to see what Wade's gonna do with that because
It's just the last time I heard of the Time Masters was that JSA run that Jeff Johns did.
yeah, and that was the last exactly. That
So
was it. And that thing got like I hate to say it, but that final issue was just kind of like a hey, I gotta go, guys.
yeah.
I love these characters. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Peace out. I don't like okay, dude. Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, my computer. I'm sorry.
But I mean, Wade did already tie in, Airwave being front one of those time displaced kids from that run too. So
Yes, that is true. So it's not surprising,
yeah.
but it'll be cool. I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to it. Green Lantern continuing. Oh my God. I just can't help it.
What about Green Lantern?
Green Lantern 25.
Okay.
It's going to be continuing as a glow in the dark foil cover.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's going to be this one.
Oh, that's dope. Who
Yeah,
drew
it's the guy that
that?
did Batman Full Moon.
Who drew that?
The guy that did Batman Full Moon.
Oh, cool. Oh, Subic.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it'll be glow in the dark and foil.
That's pretty cool.
They're just going crazy now.
Which makes sense. They did that for Full Moon also. They had a glow in the dark foil cover for that too.
Oh yeah, that's true. They did, huh? They're ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
Um, the flat, but people still buy it. So
Yeah.
the Flash 23 is Batman Rising continues. There's the Flash Batman Rising special number one. I don't care, dude.
Yeah. Eclipso, more Eclipso.
Oh, dude, over it. Aquaman,
Yeah.
which has been pretty good actually.
It has. It's been great.
I don't really mind it too much. I
Hmm.
think it's been pretty good. Um, the whole like his new sword is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thought that was pretty tight. You guys number eight.
Mm.
Mm, Zatanna's final issue.
What's that?
Rid
It's ending at 5 or 6.
6. I'm hoping. Oh, you're gonna get extended. Wow, that's incredible. I can't
That would be
wait.
great. Jamal Campbell deserves it. It's great.
I mean, yeah, even if it wasn't him doing the art and he was still writing for the meantime,
Yeah.
I think I'd be okay with that for now.
Yeah.
Give it like to a pretty good artist, you know what I mean? Don't let it be like somebody garbage, but
Right.
JSA continues. There's so many books, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, everything.
Next week is going to be killer for me, dude. Next week is like I have
Yeah,
so many
me
freaking,
too.
and those Dan Mora foils are coming in for us. So
I was literally just gonna say that, dude. I was like,
yeah.
oh shoot, I can't do it. I'm just trying. There's like nothing new. It doesn't look like, man. There's like not really a whole lot.
Mm,
Everything just keeps continuing on, which I guess isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of have this consistent flow of books right now,
yeah.
so it's pretty nice. And there seems to be quite a wide variety now.
Yeah, DC's just killing it, dude. DC's
I
just,
can't. It's funny because like 6 months ago, I remember complaining like, "Oh, there's too many Batman books,"
yeah.
but now there's like
Everything's good.
Black Canary, Secret Six, The Question, two Green Lantern books. Like, I'm like, what is happening? But Metamorpho has a book. Like, I'm like, what's going on, bro?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's nice. So I'm like, dang.
Yeah. I don't know. DC's just on it lately, dude. I don't
I don't
know.
know what I mean, dude. But it's tough.
Man, man, this was cool. It looks like we're okay. So
I
we're gonna
also got,
talk about we'll talk about this, but I have a theory.
I also got the
I want to
experience.
run the theory by you on what's
I
happening.
also got the experience.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive in.
Yeah, after we run through this, what happens in this issue, I definitely want to. I have a conspiracy or a theory of what's going on here.
Okay. We'll
Run
talk.
it by you.
So, like, the last issue kind of ends with him running into the cave and him seeing Barry's body, right?
Yes.
And that's where we leave. That's where we pick up now. And Boomerang finds him
Right.
in the cave. And he said, basically like, we're gonna get you. And then Cole jumps in. They basically all jump him and he's on the run. So it's fairly like the first two pages are pretty much just like the continued chase from the last issue.
Right.
And then um I think is really cool because we kind of see more of their dynamic when they're like on the chase together. It does kind of suck that their relationship seems very like just professional
Right.
and
Does
y-
it
I
doesn't
get
seem like they have like that camaraderie, you know?
yeah, like despite like how like rough they could be with each other at times like in the main universe like there was like always at least I felt like there was always like a sense like they were like more than just like business partners when it came to like Robin stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So they're kind of like very like militaristic, I guess, which makes sense because if they were sent by his dad, which kind of appears that way.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense, but it is kind of like I wish we would see more of like that classic camaraderie, like you said.
Yeah. Like banter between them. It's funny. Like them getting personal and stuff.
Yeah, and they just keep like they're just like up his ass, and then he's like finally had enough, and he like explodes,
Yeah.
and then we like get a flashback to then like during the accident, and he's like trying to reach for Barry, but he's like unraveling from time, like from reality.
Right.
And then he disappears as Rudy walks in. And like I was under the impression that Barry had died right then in the accident,
Right.
but it doesn't appear that way. So then you have him like beating the hell out of like Barry because he thinks he lost his son, but then like they both notice like a red like light and it's Wally coming back
Right.
and he manages to bring himself back and He zaps. Looks like he zaps Barry.
Right.
But is that how Barry dies?
Could be.
Like, did they fry his ass?
Yeah.
Which I guess kind of would make sense. Because if it just happened recently and he's just already bone,
Right.
you just zapped him.
I mean, it's time travel, so it's like it,
That's true.
it's like
Yeah.
basically fulfilled like what happened already.
I mean,
So,
I guess they're upholding the thing where Flash dies in a crisis because this is a bit of a personal crisis for Wally.
right.
Flash always dies.
Yep.
But and then it like goes back to the present and you know, they're protected by bubbles because they're from Trickster, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so he pops one on Wally. I love this scene, dude, where he just like phases out of the bubble.
Yeah.
It's so sick. I was like, all right, this is hella tight. Because it's interesting because Wally in Earth Prime or Prime Earth, like when he started, he had an issue phasing.
Right.
Like it was something he just really couldn't get down.
Yeah, because this is
Me
like
him
just
too.
tied to like anxiety, and it seems like he's starting to get a little more control, a little,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. So I thought that was really cool.
Um,
Touch. And
oh,
then Glider's chasing him, and it's like two cool moments back to back
mhm.
because she's like, I haven't met anything that can outrun. And then like it's a little like he's like she's about to catch him, and then it's the little panel of his eye looking back at her
Mhm.
before she says me, and then he just like dusts her ass. I was like, all right, this is sick.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and then it's just him like kind of like running through like fractured time, and then we see that big double page spread.
yeah. That's basically where my theory is going.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how this plays out because I have a couple of theories here. One being maybe there is two timelines.
I think one of them in one timeline Barry dies, and in one timeline Wally dies, and we're gonna have the Flash of two worlds that way.
See, I
Like
kind of
that's why Wally disappeared, and Wally shows up, and then he's back. But it's like,
see, I agree to an extent. I think the the side where we see him become the Flash is clearly the hero one, but the one where he's the monster, and I think that's maybe a timeline where he goes bad, and Barry is that's the one where he's alive, and he's the Wally is still the monster.
I don't know. I feel like there's just not enough information for me to, but I just feel like it's really going off the theme of like Flash of two worlds,
Right.
like Flash
But
is
then I
of
also
two worlds.
think maybe it's this too. Maybe it's like one of those things where he has such a hard time gaining control of his power that he's teetering that line to monster,
Right.
like with the potential future, and then he brings himself back and he becomes the hero. Like
Hmm.
he becomes the Flash, you know? I don't know. We'll see what happens. I really like this. It was really sick.
It was really cool. Nick Robles killing it as always, and
Dude, the monster design is really tight too.
mhm. It's nice that we're already getting past the whole like Wally on the run, Wally's scared, blah blah blah. I'm liking that we're just getting past that. Wally's getting used to everything. We're not like dredging too much on that.
Right, and then he's like, what am I becoming? Like now he wants to know what's happening to him.
Right.
But then the last two pages,
Yeah.
they're still on the chase. They bring out Grodd, and I like how like the first two panels make him feel like really ominous.
Yeah, it makes it look like he's really gonna be like the original gorilla that he.
Yeah, and then he just walks out, and he's like the little monkey, and he's like, "Mm."
Yeah, I'm like, dude, that's awesome. I love it.
Like that's great. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really interested in this still.
Yeah, me too.
And there's no reason not to be. I
Yeah,
think it's yeah, the two timeline stuff is really interesting. But maybe they'll both maybe we'll see into both as the series continues, and then they'll converge at some point.
right, right.
Like for a second, it kind of felt like a bit like the movie, like
Yeah,
the movie, but then I was like, maybe this is like an opportunity for them to like do that kind of storyline a little bit, or maybe a lot better.
Right.
So I'm not too concerned, but because Lemire's handling it, so but it'll be good, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. I love it. I'm having fun with it so far. Uh,
Yeah.
talk about world's finest. This guy, dude. These first couple pages had me cracking up, bro, because it shows like the secret origin of like Batman's hatred for Hal.
Yes. Like Rector's plane.
Yeah. And he's
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm not worried about Hal because if something bad happens, he'll just do his Green Lantern thing, right? And Superman's like,
yeah,
he
yeah, the
uses
ring.
ring
And he's like,
for the
oh,
thrill. And he's like, like,
he's like, I can't believe this. Yeah.
yeah, it's great. I love how Mark Wade just does these little things like, hey, I'm gonna just touch on that. I'm gonna touch on this. Like,
Yeah, like the banter between yeah, just Clark and Bruce is always on point.
hmm like that's pretty great. Pretty much like we're finding out like this is like in this like the first time they like Batman and Superman find out about Grodd. Like,
Yeah, and yeah, the rest of Gorilla City and stuff.
yeah, the rest of Gorilla City and basically they all three of them go there. They all have guns. Flash and Superman disarm them. It's pretty fun. Then they get Titano, which is pretty fun. Like, like
Yeah.
I was like, what? That's pretty fun, dude. Like bringing Titano in this, of course, Gorilla City, and it's like, he's got kryptonite eyes basically, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Like, I don't know, it's fun. Just
It just felt like a classic like DC like universe story.
yeah, yeah. And then basically, Flash sees Grodd in like a bubble. He tries to get him, but he can't break the bubble.
Right.
It's just I don't know, this really felt like an old school, like it really feels like an old school book, like the way it's like paced, everything like that. It really does feel like it is in the past.
Yeah, and I also really like the art. Like Clayton Henry did a really good job
Yeah, he did. He did.
with
But
this
I mean,
issue.
it's also Bond villain doing the colors, so she's always
That is true. Yeah, she always elevates what she's on. So that
mm.
is true. But
The colors look great on here. Like this is
yeah, and then like the military comes in, right?
yeah,
And
the
they're
military
like
comes in because
acting up,
basically like Grodd more or less.
declares war on humanity.
Yeah, he declares war on humanity, and basically he planned all this more or less, and it was all basically to get Superman to come so he could basically mind,
Yeah, use Titano to weaken his mind enough to
yeah, so he can get into it.
body swap him.
Exactly. So he like body swaps him. Basically they say that Superman's in like Rod's body, like comatose while this is happening.
Yeah, and they like make pretty quick work of him.
Yeah.
They just make the switch back really fast.
hmm
Like the interesting bit because it's like this is the first chapter of We Are Yesterday.
Right.
Kind of comes here at the end, because now that God is in prison, he gets this like this version of him from the future that has this like looks like a crown of something
Well,
or some
just
ability
remember
maybe.
they found out in the last Justice League issue that Grodd has Martian Manhunter's powers now.
That's right.
So,
That's right. I completely forgot about that. You're right.
so Grodd is basically super OP right now, and
Yeah, and so now he was able to like look back into the past, like
right,
amplify, like it already amplified his ability, you know what I
right.
mean? So yeah,
So this is
he
pretty cool. Like we're seeing the crossover like happen right here, where it's like the future Grodd
yeah,
coming back, and
and then he's ready to like make hit this fraud from the past his dream a reality where the apes take over the world.
right. It's very like Kang-like almost, but
Yeah.
like it's really
It's
cool.
cool though. I really like it.
Yeah,
I normally don't have too much of a care for Grodd, but I think this is cool.
yeah.
I think it'll be interesting.
I think Wade just doing anything like that just makes it interesting.
Yeah. I
Um,
just don't have to be like dealing with Grodd for too long.
yeah. Well, no, I think we're gonna be getting into the whole Legion soon,
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's gonna be like a pivotal character for like this like crossover, but I just like I think that's enough for me because there are other characters I really want to see like kind of take center stage maybe.
Right.
So I don't know, we'll see.
Right. But it is fun
Like
too
I
that
really
the
want to
fact
see
that
like
like
more of the all-in stuff to kind of take center stage and not just
well, that's what I was saying. What's pretty funny is why while they're doing this is because it's like Grodd basically realized like, hey, Lex Luthor is still recovering his memories. This shit's happening, so it's like he's going to the past to recruit
yeah, that's true.
Legion members. So I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, he's like, shit, I can't use the all-in villains right now. I gotta go into the past,
That that is a fair point. Yeah, kind
So
of like using them because they're kind of occupied doing other stuff.
right. So and Wade's very good with that, so I don't know. I really enjoy it. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun, you know, I think it's gonna be really fun. And I think it's like sets it up in a way that's not gonna be too confusing. Because I was like, how confusing is this about to be with them crossing
Right.
over? But nah, it doesn't. By the end
Right,
of it,
because
yeah.
now this past squad kind of has the idea and they can bring them to the future.
Yeah. But just real quick, I'll go into Turtles really quick. Let me just say, dude, Juan Ferreira's art is just really great.
That was fire last issue, man.
Yeah, it's the same here. I mean, we're still getting the turtles bickering, and they're on the run basically in New York. Um, Basically, we find out that Leo more or less starts believing Donnie in the rat
Okay.
and Splinter, and in desperation, he ends up praying. He ends up, and he ends up hearing Splinter. Meanwhile, Donnie basically runs away. Dude, we see Bebop and Rocksteady. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Bebop and Rocksteady are in here. But we also see April. She's pretty much got like Casey's stuff, and she's basically doing investigations on her own. And yeah, so now she's going to be part of this, which is cool because I feel like we've been missing like that Casey Jones aspect of it, and
Yeah.
her doing be gonna fill that hole is pretty cool. Um,
Yeah, because he's in the hospital, right?
yeah, he's like in a coma
Um,
or something like
that's
that.
right, because the I can't remember that guy's name.
Yeah.
The new mayor guy, I can't remember his name for the life of me. But he like him and his cronies beat him up, right?
Yeah. And
So yeah, he
basically,
probably
this time, basically, we find out that Donnie runs away because he can't really stand the fighting that his brothers are having and stuff. And he
Hmm.
ends up going to the enemy, and this is basically the end of it. And basically, he ends up going back to the enemy, and he's like, I'm Donnie, I'm a mutant. Something tells me that I belong in a cage, and he surrenders himself.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. So now the three turtles are going to be looking for
Oh,
him
you
because they
gotta,
feel
you gotta
bad
bust.
because like everybody's in their own head and bickering with each other that like Donnie's just like fuck
Right. So
out
he's
of
like, fine, I'm just not gonna deal with it.
yeah. And then basically like Leo by the end of by in this basically like he's just like all right, you know what, I'm just gonna pray and meditate and I'm just gonna entertain this, and because if it is Splinter, what do we have to lose, like.
Mhm.
So, and like even Donnie like leaves the rat with like a note, and it's like, please take care of Master Splinter. I love you
Oh
guys.
shoot. That's what he
So it's
said.
gonna be like that's like the thing that's gonna be bringing the brothers together, like
Yeah, maybe they'll all see Splinter at some point.
right. And now going after Donnie and worrying about Donnie is like the glue that's putting them back together right now.
That's true, yeah.
So it's cool. I'm loving Jason Aaron's new interpretation of the Turtles. It's got some spiritual aspects to it. Juan Ferrera's art is just incredible.
Yeah, because he's the artist, like main artist for now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking
One
forward
thing
to
I
it.
will say though is I really don't really care about the enemy that much. Hale, whatever that like
That's
mayor.
the mayor guy, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't.
I'm
Yeah, like every time he comes up, I'm like, I don't care. Like I don't.
yeah, I mean, I get with the whole like storyline of the city, like kind of rejecting them.
Yeah,
And then like this him kind of being like, I'm gonna take advantage of that and really push it.
right.
So I get it, but it is kind of he's kind of a boring guy.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
And
the
the
turtles are
foot, he just like
boring.
it's like very just like generic that he would just have the foot employed. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
it's like whatever, fine.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But other than that, like it's like I just want Karai to come back and just bring it back to the Foot and the Turtles and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, just bust it up, man.
Yeah, but but it's still great. I'm loving this run, and I guess you want to talk about New Gods,
Oh, dude, it's
dude.
so
This
good, bro.
I literally was like stunned at some of these pages, man. Like Cagel's art is just like the way, it's just shiny.
Crazy, bro.
It's like it's just like eye candy, dude. It's insane looking. Especially to go from what McLean's art, which is like drastically different, to then like going into like Hagel's art.
Yeah, because it was very much like kind of like the retelling of like an us like kind of like a cartoony retelling,
Yeah,
which I really thought was cool. I
of like
really,
mythology. Yeah, it is cool. It
yeah,
is cool.
I thought it was interesting.
But they talk about the Black Racer in this, and I'm like, oh,
Yes,
where's he been at? Ooh.
exactly. And then we've got like him, and then it's like back to Kegel, you know.
Yeah, and just that's just gorgeous looking art, man.
Dude.
Like it looks like it's even though it's like still pictures, it looks animated, even just
Yes,
for a still picture. You know what I mean? Like it's insane. I don't understand how he does that, but like everything looks like it animated already.
yeah, no shit.
It's gorgeous, man.
He's like, and then like his picture of Darkseid is just so sick.
Dude.
Do you have like the Niktari come down and they talk about how Darkseid destroyed their homeworld
Yes.
and they like gain this power to like kind of come back from the dead. It felt very much kind of like a gore thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, this character's kind of badass. But like here's at first, like when like he's just talking big game and the High Father's like,
You just like boop.
fuck your shit. Yeah,
Just
just like
one
messes
shot,
him up,
bro.
bro.
Yeah, just one shot. He's like
And then
boop.
he just
He's
I
like,
was
all
like,
right.
oh shoot, okay, this is over.
Yeah, let me just walk
And-
away.
Yeah, and then he goes back. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, High Father's OP as hell. He's always been. So
Yeah, but now that he's like unlocked it, you know what I mean? Like he's
mhm.
locked in now. But
Yeah,
then he's like like surprised by the regrowth. But then it jumps back to the fight between, Scott and Barda versus Orion,
yeah,
protecting the child. Who eventually just blasts the hell out of Orion.
right.
Anyway.
But man, it's just like even Cagel's art, like just like oh my God, just like the way the positions of people, the angles. So it's yeah, dude,
Yeah,
I want to buy everything this guy does now.
seriously.
Like this is like really good, like anime looking stuff. Like it looks like this is like an animated anime.
Yeah, it's really, really clean, man.
Mhm.
And this fight that continues on with High Father
Yeah.
and this general. And then who he brings out with him is Darkseid's son.
Yes.
And what was his name? It said
Which one?
the bastard son of Darkseid. Oh, Graven.
Mhm.
And then he like goes to blast
Yeah, there it is.
High Father, but he's like got black Omega beams.
Right.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then Light comes in, of course, and kind of saves the day
Right.
because he's been like the first three pages are kind of him being propped up as like kind of him wanting to know what death is like. He was like going around asking people. He's kind of been chasing death for some time, not really realizing it.
Yeah.
And then he's confronted with the Black Racer and kind of like given an opportunity because he's been speaking with Metron and these higher level like intellects. And he saves Allfather and he like stays back as the rest of them escape,
Yeah.
because New Genesis, they're basically it's like hopeless. So it's gonna fall.
Right.
And so they kill Lightray and then they flee to Earth.
Earth.
And while they flee to Earth, you have the fight continuing, and then somebody comes in to kind of turn the tide at the end there.
Right.
Superman.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was nice.
That was really cool. It's
This
like
book is really, really good, dude.
he's gonna need a miracle, and it's like, hey,
What do you think I am? Yeah, literally.
Superman.
I was like,
That's really
yes,
cool.
bro. I was like, yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
of
that's
course,
pretty cool.
Superman's not gonna let Orion kill a
Oh
kid.
no, of course not.
So great. And I hope that like I hope it's like a thing of like basically like Scott did this just because he was like, shit, we have to. We have to. We're
Yeah,
desperate. We need to call Superman. Like, you
yeah,
know,
exactly.
makes sense, because I think about it all the time when I'm reading these books. I'm like, why don't you just call this person? You guys are a shared universe. Why don't you? I get
Literally.
like you can't because it's your book, but it's like, I
And maybe,
like that.
and then maybe, yeah, I get it. Maybe you want to handle business, but also it's like, kind of maybe call him
Yeah, yeah.
so you don't
And
like
now,
maybe there's less
like
the workload
basically,
or
like
whatever.
everybody being part of the Justice League now.
Yeah, that's true. It does help because everybody's like kind of like in touch.
Yeah. So,
Anything else you want to talk about?
yeah. This ended. Did you read it?
I haven't read it yet.
You haven't read it yet. Okay, we'll save it because this
Yes.
finally ended. This arc did
That was the last issue of the arc. Okay.
of the arc. Yeah, it's still going to go. It's still like going, but
Yeah.
it pretty much sets up something new at
Without
the.
spoilers, what do you think of it?
It was fun. It was fine. I was pretty much right about everything. You know.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I was pretty much right about everything. Um,
No, not the mom.
yeah, yeah. It's the mom.
Not the mom.
It's the mom.
Damn it.
Mhm.
Damn it, man. Ah,
Yep.
it was so predictable. I should have just seen it.
Yeah, yeah. That's like the only
Okay.
thing that's predictable about it. Everything else is pretty good in it. Everything else is it's pretty solid.
Oh,
I'm
dude, not the freaking mom, bro. I'm over it, dude. I just can't.
and basically the
Do you
story
ever
that
just
goes
wish that
on.
there were other people writing the main Batman books?
What's that?
Do you just ever wish that there were other people writing main
Yeah.
Batman?
Oh, for sure. For sure. The thing is though is like this is still like some of the best work I've seen of Mikel Yanin. So it's like
Like, okay, now that this arc is complete, what do you think as a whole? Like, do you think it's mostly just like Taylor being Taylor and doing like stupid stuff?
sort of, but not really, because I thought he was doing the Nightwing thing, and then in this, he kind of pulled it back a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not one to one as we thought it was.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this whole situation with like doing it Joe Chill, it just kind of feels like unnecessary.
Yeah, oh for sure. Oh
So
for sure.
I'm just like rolling my eyes about the whole thing because like, and then it's just like even further, it's like here's the other thing I don't think about is like, why is the mom going? Like, why? Why are you doing this?
Mainly because it's like think about it like more or less like she asked Thomas not to save him because he was a piece of criminal, piece of crap, beater. So them taking killing juvenile kids, more or less, who are already bad, who she believes won't be able to be saved, more or less.
He's like preventing
Yeah,
them
she's
from
saving
becoming like
potential lives by dealing with the criminals.
you can't do that. I mean, that's basically like I'm sure Batman's like, well, you can't just like pre-qualify somebody for a crime.
Well, that's why she's going after kids who have already committed crimes, all those kids that were already.
Right, but also it's like they're also like you also still can't hold them to something they haven't done yet.
Right.
So like, I mean, I guess, but so it's like, come on.
Yeah, and I won't spoil it for you, but we see who the mother was, when she wasn't Asima too.
Ooh, okay.
So we see that too, and that was a pretty cool reveal in that way. That was basically how they revealed everything was through that. So that
All
was cool.
right. Well, we'll see. I'll
Yeah.
read it, but
Other than that, I definitely have read worse Batman arcs. That I would say that this was better than a lot of Chip Zdarsky's arcs in his Batman run. So, I'll take this over the Batman of Gotham any day.
oh God, dude, yeah, I'll agree with you there.
So,
I'll agree with you there, dude. That
you
is true.
know, So, but other than that, I like it. I think it's fresh, and I just wish that while we were getting this, we were getting fractions instead of Hattush. But
He's just gonna be around for a minute, bro.
yeah, it sucks. But yeah, Mikel Hanin, I look forward to seeing what these other arcs are going to be because Mikel Hanin is I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just this colorist. Maybe I don't know, but he's killing it, dude. And I usually never really felt his art really stood out that much to me.
Mhm.
But in this, it's like, oh, he's nailing whatever he's doing.
Yeah,
He's
I didn't really care for his stuff when King was doing Batman,
yeah,
but
same.
then he did other stuff, and then he did Batman and the Authority, and Superman and the Authority, and I was like,
Yeah,
damn, he's pretty good.
yeah. And
Isn't-
pretty much Summer of Superman, we get a Dan Slott story, a Mark Waid story, a Joshua Williamson story. It's fine. It's fine. Mark Wade's story is obviously the best, and it's just basically young Clark back in the day. Just feels like, it feels like they never retconned him being Superboy. And Dan Slott basically does more of like a present, everybody's attending Lena Lang's and John Henry Irons' wedding.
Yeah.
It's one of
I think I missed when they started like when they were together. When did that start?
that started a while ago. A while ago. I want
Like
to say that started
before,
like in the 2000s. Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they've been dating for a while. So it's pretty
Okay.
much like, yeah. I
Way
want
longer than I was expecting. Like, damn.
yeah. And so we see that more or less, and things go wrong. And more or less the whole like thing that ties all three of these together is basically we see at the end the epilogue is the Legion of
Yeah.
Superheroes with a captured Booster Gold. And from there, at basically the end of time where they're at, they've been sending this enemy throughout time. And we see that this enemy fought Clark when he was a kid and fought them. And he shows up also at Lena and John Henry Irons' wedding, this one enemy
Right.
that he's sending. So that's basically this one enemy that keeps popping up, basically, is tied to the Legion sending.
Right. When I was skimming through it earlier,
Yeah, so that's
I
basically
was
it.
able to see that same creature a couple times.
Yeah. So and it's whatever, it's cool. I'm more the best part of it was the whole Booster Gold reveal because I'm like, okay, we're finally touching on that and we're gonna continue.
Yes.
That's great.
Funny, dude. I
Because I
just,
love the all-in issue and I would just love to see what's happening from it. So,
mhm.
but yeah, other than that, man, I'm good to go.
Um,
Unless you got something.
I read Zatanna, and that was pretty
Oh yeah,
good.
that's right.
Just continues on with the Lady
I have
White.
it. I just haven't read it yet.
All right, I won't spoil too much of it, but it was, I mean, Jamal Campbell's artwork is still really, really banging, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm
You
skimming through
know,
it right now. I'm like, oh my God.
just kind of like a trap for all of the heroes involved. Like Blue Devil is on the ropes with Leather Knight, and then you've got there is a cool reveal with some of the like with another character that's kind of like essentially trapped within the same place that Zatanna is.
Okay.
That I won't spoil. I thought that was really interesting
All right. Yeah, I'm probably gonna read this right when we get done, actually. So,
for sure. I
but
won't say too much else. Ultimate Wolverine. I read that
oh,
also.
how was it? Because I still haven't read the issue before that one either.
Issue three,
Yeah, but I do know what happens in it. I do
like
know
with
that.
Kitty and Gambit and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So this one was good too. This is very much kind of like the aftermath
Uh-huh.
of him falling out of the truck after his encounter with Kitty when she puts her hands in his head and trying to make her like tries to
Yeah,
make her
right,
remember.
right.
And it just opens up and it's like a wolf or like what like a Wolverine, you know, like on the prowl. And
Yeah.
it's just dialogue between like some guards and then the scientists from like back at the lab where he's from, and they're all like they've recovered his body and they're like trying to get him like conscious and steady, but his heart rate is like it's like spiking, dropping, and he's like kind of like convulsing. His claws are like, and they're just like talking all about the things that he's doing because he's like having these like fluctuations
Right.
in like his mental state. His heart rate is racing and then it's slowing down and then he's calm, but then he like kind of rages out again. And he's like slowly just staring at the people that are outside the glass and they're all like freaked out that he's gonna bust out the glass and kill them. And then like the whole time it's just like all the pages are just again like Capuccio just like flexing because it's just this wolf in the forest like just stalking and then he comes across a polar bear and then it's like this polar bear versus this wolf fight the whole time. And he just
Dude, Capuccio just kills it, man. Everything I see of that man is just insane. Yeah, dude. That colorist is really great too. Whoever's doing the colors for that.
I think it's might be Wilson.
Might be.
Nope, Valenza.
Okay. Well, whoever's doing that is making that art shine.
So then like the dialogue starts to get a little bit more frantic
Yeah.
because he does bust out of the glass. And this whole time they're like trying to call that lead scientist who's like like in the head of the program, you know,
Hmm.
who says like, "Oh, like I have complete control of him now." And so like she's like not there, but she's on her way, and they're like freaking out. And then he does bust out and start like he starts killing a lot of them.
Okay.
And then she finally gets there and she calms him down and they get him restrained again. And then she's like, "Okay," she's like, "I have something that we need to do." She's like, "I bet." She's like, and then I think one of the soldiers is like, "Well, we don't have the clearance to do it." She's like, "Well, I'll ask for forgiveness." And they take him downstairs, like down this elevator, into this giant like, which this kind of might look familiar. Big kind of like I don't know. To me, it kind of looks like the place where they house Cerebro in the movies.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, which I think maybe I don't remember if they did they do that in like in the X-Men comics.
I know Cerebro exists, but I'm not sure it was like that.
Right, like it's like the helmet too, but it's
Yeah.
also like they operate. They look the same.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they go inside of it, and they said there's the one thing that can help calm him and like reinforce and re-engage these like mental blocks to keep him under our control. And so the final page is them going inside of that sphere, and inside of it is a redheaded woman.
Oh no.
Let me show you.
Is it who I think it is?
Who do you think it is?
Oh, redheaded woman. Jean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
But floating above her is a brain. Like they're like all strung up on wires. Can you guess whose brain it is?
Xavier's.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I got to read Ultimate Wolverine now for sure.
It's tight, bro.
That's pretty crazy.
And then so like there's this like data entry, like this like file that talks about how um Xavier's body was frozen underneath the Kremlin after he had died.
Right.
But then she had the company she works for dug up his body and they took his brain. But then they also they reference Magneto and they reference Omega level mutants. They reference several others and they talk about Jean and how she's nicknamed this Phoenix specimen because they suspect that she's been possessed by a like celestial being
Oh,
and they use Xavier's brain like basically they sedate her body enough and keep her atrophied and give her the minimal amount of like nutrients to survive because if she does wake up and the sedatives wear off and her muscles have atrophied to where she can't use them, how is she going to escape? Is how they justify it.
okay.
And then they're like, and then they use Xavier's brain as a way to quell the Phoenix and her mental powers
Oh,
enough, while also like in a weird way. using the brain to influence her to then turn around and use her abilities to help them, like control the Winter Soldier and offer suggestions to her. So the
Got
brain not only soothes her, but it also suggests her to do things for them based on how they send electrical impulses and why it's all connected. It's like it's kind of messed up.
yeah, that's crazy. That's
So I'm
wild.
like, damn, like you kind of seeing like why the X-Men aren't around.
Yeah. Well, damn, now I gotta read that because that sounds awesome.
And so it kind of does make sense why like Ultimate X-Men is the way that it is.
Right.
You have these kids who have kind of had to take up this mantle because the original X-Men that you know and love are like kind of fractured or dead or gone
Right.
or
A lot of them are.
evil, yeah, or something else.
That's
It's a
crazy.
bit of a trip, honestly. This was kind of like yeah, kind of a bit of a big reveal, I think.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna have to now read that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was tight.
Yeah, damn. Yeah, I'm gonna read both of them right now. I got them out.
Yes, sir. But yeah, man. I think that's about all I got.
Yeah, same here, man. I'm
Um,
dude.
yeah.
See you next week.
There's a lot of books
I
next
have a
week.
what's that?
There's a lot of books next week.
Yeah, I was about to say I'll see you next week because we got a lot to cover.
Yep.
I'm spending like I think it's like at least 100 or over 100 next week. So
Gonna be a lot, man.
it's brutal. Yeah.
All right, we'll see what happens. All
Yeah.
right, yeah. Peace out.
Later on, guys. Stay safe, y'all.